everybody. Welcome back to the Profit Roadmap. As always, we're your hosts, Ryan and Bekah, and this is the premier podcast created for field service pros to help you grow your business, stay on top of the latest trends, and help you provide even more value to the communities that you serve. So today, we're super excited to welcome Jason Thomas from Don's Lawns over in Oklahoma City. The game plan today is to talk about lawn care, automation, and much more. So Jason, welcome to the Profit Roadmap. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. Looking forward
Absolutely.
to it.
Yeah, glad you're here. We've got a couple of questions lined up for you. I don't know if we're going to throw you any curveballs. We might. We'll see how it goes. but yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Could you start out with telling us how you got involved with Don's Lawns and what that sort of road to where you are now looks like?
Yeah, so it kind of starts back in 2016. My brother and I, Aaron, started our pest control business called Bug Bros Pest Control out in Southwest Kansas, where we grew up, and that expanded, and we moved into Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the pest control in 2018, and then we decided to purchase Don's Lawn in Oklahoma City in May of 2021. It was our first entrance into the lawn care industry. Weed control and fertilizers is our main focus, and we do some grub control and things like that as well, aeration and whatnot. But up until then, we had just been strictly pest control. And this opportunity came up. The previous owner was looking to retire from the business, and numbers look good. And we have acquired and sold multiple businesses throughout the years, and the numbers worked. And so we thought, let's see how it goes. And we jumped in and didn't know anything about weed control at all. So it's been a pretty big learning curve the last few years.
Yeah.
But we have a good team around us, so it's been good.
That's awesome. So I want to start talking about a little bit about technology, because I think one of the things that you guys that we've seen your strengths in is adopting technology and using technology to really catapult yourselves. So what are your experience, some of the more innovative ways that you guys have incorporated technology into Don's Lawns and the operations there? Yeah.
Well, my brother has always said from the beginning, we're not really a pest control company. We're a technology company masquerading as pest control. So we always wanted to be on the forefront of technology. Our industry is a little slow to adopt new technologies and new ways of doing things, right? So we always wanted to be on the forefront. We see, the technology and the AI revolution as a benefit to us and our business and our customers and our team, as opposed to something we, need to steer away from. We want to embrace it and fully utilize it. To date, I don't know that I could say we've been super innovative with the things we've done. We've, a lot of the tools we use, other companies use as well. When we did buy Don's, though, it was very much run like a business 20 years ago. The technicians weren't even didn't have a mobile app for the technicians. And they were using, it just moved from a desktop only version of, software scheduling, routing, all that stuff to a cloud-based version, but still weren't using, any mobile apps or anything like that for their field. So the field was still, and the office were both run, much like it would have been a couple decades ago. A lot of manual processes, a lot of manpower was required to do pretty much every task. And so for the last few years, really for the first couple of years, we devoted a ton of time and energy and money into bringing Don's up to speed on the technology front. But we don't just have the one platform that we run the business from. We tie in all kinds of different tools and technologies to further our automations and improve our systems and efficiency of our people. And that's really what it's been about. Now, we have big visions for the future as far as what we're going to do with technology, with AI and things like that, which we can get into a little bit later. But really, I think what it comes down to for us is we're just not scared to try. We'll go to a technology, lawn and landscape technology conference, for instance, and we'll go visit all the vendors. And we typically walk away from conferences like that with 2 or 3 vendors we want to, you know, dig deeper into and give a shot, and see if they work for us. So we'll try it out, you know, and we'll put 3 to 6 months of you know, investment into that and try it out and see how it works. And if it works, great, we'll continue with it, or expand on it. And if not, we're not afraid to throw it out and, you know, and scratch the whole thing. You know, for us, it's always about iterating and trying something new, getting a little bit better every day. One of our core values is create, which is our tagline is 1% better every day, which means that we're try a bunch of stuff. A lot of it doesn't work. Some of it does. But we're not afraid to try and fail. And our team has figured that out and they've adopted.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's super powerful. I was going to ask if you're going to be at the Lawn and Landscape Technology Conference, because that's later this month, but
yeah, we're
you beat me to it.
Aaron and I are actually speaking.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a little set we're doing about automation and how we've utilized it to grow our business and all that. But what we're really excited about, this is totally just a shameless plug here, but we won the Lawn and Landscape's top 23 best places to work for award for the second year in a row.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Number 8 overall, and then number 6 in small business category. So we're real excited about that. We're going to go and get the award on Tuesday night, and then I think we speak on Wednesday afternoon. So, yeah,
that's super cool. Well, if you guys are at the Lawn and Landscape Technology, definitely make sure you stop by and listen to Jason and his brother.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
I like what you said about that mindset of not being afraid to try. I think that's really important as just a person, first of all, but in an organization. Can you speak about that? And just like, did you have any challenges with implementing like technology into the business? As you spoke about how, you know, guys weren't even on like up-to-date technology and software devices. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, for us, when we introduced some of the new technology into Don's, it was, you know, initially there's a little bit of pushback, a little bit of resistance from the team, especially the field. The office was like gung-ho, yes, we need this. You know, we need more efficiency, you know. But the field was a little, you know, a little leery, right? They've been doing things a certain way for a long time, and you know, it took a little bit for some of the guys to get past, because you know, as we introduce a new process or new technology, it does initially it added a little bit of extra work for them. They had to learn it, of course, and then it takes maybe couple extra minutes to enter in the stuff, you know, on the app and all that, and so there's a little bit of pushback there initially, but what we needed to do was to show the guys how this new technology and these new systems and processes we're putting in place is going to actually make them more efficient in the long run. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might take you a couple more minutes per job right now, but what we do now is setting us up for, you know, several months from now when we go back to that customer's house, or when that customer calls in with a question or concern about their lawn. We need to have all this stuff in place. We need to have the notes and we need to have the history, you know, in the system and all that, so we can look back and be more educated to communicate with the customer, you know. And so, you know, getting them to understand that it's not just about this moment right now, that it's a longer term strategy, and the better we deliver our service now, the better we document it, the less headaches we'll all have in the future, you know. And, you know, a lot of us talking, you know, just to get them to realize, okay, if you're not able to take care of this customer today for whatever reason, for instance, you know, I mean, did not do's happen, you know, we go to a customer's house, they're on the schedule, go to a customer's house, for some reason can't get the treatment done. And so one thing we would walk through is, if you can't get that treatment done, well, first off, you got to try your hardest to get it done. Like, you know, these lame excuses of, oh, I, you know, didn't have the right chemical. Well, you should have had the right chemical because you knew it was on your route, you know, right. when you left, it was right there on your phone. But, you know, so trying to get them to understand that when they're not able to complete a job in the field for whatever reason, that adds a ton of time and a ton of effort and a ton of money, and it kills our profit. You know, at that point now we have to contact the customer and say, hey, sorry, we weren't able to, you know, get you treated today. We'll get you back on the schedule. as soon as possible. Then we have to get them rerouted. Then we send another guy out there, and there's a good chance that our office staff is going to be dealing with a potentially upset customer, because customers don't like to be rescheduled for any reason. And getting them to understand, like, look, it's not just you that is here. It's the whole ecosystem. It's everything. It's everyone in the office. It's our router. It's the next technician going there. If we don't follow these systems and protocols we put in place, it's going to negatively impact the entire chain and the customer experience. And we're all about delivering a crazy happy customer experience. So just kind of getting them, to change their perspective a little bit, change their mindset, as opposed to it's just me, I want to get my job done and go home, to it's about the team. And that was it's an ongoing process, of course, but it really took 2 solid years of us, working on the culture to get them to really adopt that mentality for the most part. And there's still, issues every now and then, of course, because, we got 30 or 40 employees, it's going to happen. But yeah, just getting them, on the mindset. And over time, they see the benefit of it. They definitely see that, we're not adding things to them to make their life more difficult. It's to make the experience better for the customer, make it, more efficient for the business, which we've told them from day one leads to more profit, which leads to more money to them, because we're going to let them share in the profit, so.
It's a pretty good incentive alone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I've bounced around. I've held a couple of positions here inside of FieldEdge, so more for the mechanical contracting, HVAC, plumbing side of things. But one of the biggest hurdles we get when we're implementing software or helping someone implement software is like getting the field to buy in. A lot of times I find the office is pretty excited, but getting the field to change what they're used to can be a pain. I like the approach you took, where it was like, hey, we're going to set the right expectations ahead of it. Understand that, yes, there's a learning curve. We're going to essentially front load our effort, but then, down the line, it's going to be way better. Yeah, I like that a lot. I had an anecdote, but I'll save that for the post show. So, are there any specific technologies that you guys have implemented that have been an overwhelming success? Maybe even not even the most successful, but maybe it's just like your favorite thing that you've done.
I don't know if I have a favorite. We've done so many different things. Obviously, a good scheduling routing software is, the key. That's the foundation to the whole business, right? Be able to schedule, route, invoice, collect payments, all that. We've tried a whole bunch of different ones over the years. The thing we like most about Service Autopilot is the built-in automations. That's been really nice for us, because we are all about setting proper expectations for the customer and then delivering on those expectations. And if for whatever reason we can't deliver on it, we want to be proactive in communicating that to the customer, and we want to own it and let them know, hey, we'll get it taken care of. We found that customers are much more forgiving if we communicate and are upfront and proactive about it than if it's reactive. We don't want to wait for them to call us upset. It's too late at that point. So, one of the great things about the automations in Service Autopilot is, we can set it to automatically, send an appointment notification, email, text, or whatever to customers, of course. We've created forms for our technicians to use in the field, where they can just click a couple clicks, and it'll send a text message to the customer, says, hey, this is Jason with Don's Lawn. We're on the way. We'll be there, the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. And then as they complete the job, it'll send them, automatic notifications. Hey, we completed your job. Here's some more information. Here's some steps that you can take to get the most out of this treatment, things like that. And then we also use it for lawn conditions, which is really cool. Every time our techs are out on a customer's lawn, they have to fill out the lawn conditions form, which is asking them, things like, do they have grassy weeds? Do they have broadleaf weeds? What percentage of the lawn is weeds? Do they have grub damage? Is it minor, severe, moderate? Is it in recovery? Is their soil compacted? Do they need an aeration? Do they need some overseeding and fescue areas or anything like that? So the technician will fill out that form every single time we're on a customer's yard. And then we have automation set up to then, send a email and text to the customer. Hey, your tech noted that your lawn is your soil is very compacted, and that's going to make it difficult for your grass to grow in thick and spread. We recommend aeration, and then we, create a ticket for an office person to, pitch them an aeration service and things like that. So we're able to use the automations for a lot of upsell opportunities as well, as being proactive and communicating those expectations to the customers. So that's been real key. We've used all kinds of other stuff. We have a tool called Applause right now that we really like, that integrates with Service Autopilot and several other routing softwares, that once the service is completed by the tech, it'll send a text message to the customer asking them, for their NPS score on a scale of 0 to 10, what's the likelihood you would recommend Don's? And then if it's a 9 or a 10, it automatically will send them to Google to leave a 5-star review, hopefully. If it's under 9, then it sends us a message. Hey, this customer replied this way. It'll send comments to us as well, so we can call the customer. Hey, sorry, we dropped the ball on this. What do we need to do to make it right for you? We always want to deliver that 5-star service. So that's a really cool one. We've gotten 3,000 5-star reviews in the last 3 years.
Holy crap!
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we had a system in place for getting reviews before we started using Applause, which was about 9 months ago. We started using Applause. Applause just makes it easier. It's totally automated, and it captures the other information like the NPS score and comments, and allows the customer to leave a tip to the technician and things like that. So it's real cool. And Applause has leaderboards, so we can show
that's cool.
Video each week. Okay, here's our 5-star leader last week. Here's the leader, so far for the year. And, so there's a competition. The guy that has the most 5 stars at the end of the year gets a nice bonus, things like that. But we had systems in place beforehand. You can do a lot of it with something like Service Autopilot or High Level or Zapier or whatever. You can do all kinds of different tools to make those things happen. Applause just made it easier, and it's more fun and kind of gamifies it for our techs. They have the app on their phone, so they can see where they are on the leaderboard. They can see their tips and all that. Everything gets paid. Basically, it's kind of like Venmo, so they can get their 5-star bonuses. We give them $15 for every 5-star review they get. So those will automatically get put into their Applause account, and then they can just withdraw it from there into their checking account anytime they want. So it's pretty cool. They really like it because they're not having to wait 2 weeks in between paychecks for their 5 stars. They can get it immediately, and that immediate gratification is always nice.
Yeah, that's super cool. I've never heard of a software that does the review incentive quite that way.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's really cool, and and it works well. And like I said, we got 3,000 5-star reviews in the last 3 years at Don's, and so we're real proud of that. And guys like it, and it saved our staff quite a bit of time, because we were getting 5 stars before, but it was a little bit more manual process, not fully automated. So
yeah, we had Applause at our SEC conference, I think, last year. They were pretty cool. So I hope we can get them on here. But I think when you can incentivize your group like that, and they can even see it, I think that it just empowers them even more to be more efficient out there in the field. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And, I think we got, one guy's, he's gotten 40 5-star reviews so far this year.
That's awesome.
So I don't know how much money that is. What's 40 times 15?
I'm awful with math, but I have a calculator right here.
I think it's $600.
$600.
And 5 stars. And that's in Don's. Our Bug Bros gets even more. I think our top guy at Bug Bros has probably gotten 60 plus 5 stars this year.
Nice.
So,
I especially with a tool like that, being able to, as a technician, being able to essentially punch into it and understand where I am at any given time, I could see myself absolutely trying to get really do my best and then really get those reviews, because there's really something tangible in it for me.
Absolutely.
$600, you could fly over here to Florida and take your family to
flight somewhere.
Disney. We talked about that during the pre-show a little bit, but maybe wait until
It's cooler.
Mid-October, and it's not like insane.
Right.
So you guys use automations.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Bekah. Sorry.
I was just going to ask about the process behind the automations, because you have like a whole pipeline of just like when you were explaining like the whole procedure of the checklist they fill out and how they communicate with clients. So that's something I think maybe some people new to automations may not think about or understand. Like, how do you go and like think, okay, what is the whole entire pipeline I need to make this a successful automation?
Yeah, so that's a good question. My background is actually in small business automation. Before we got into pest control, I had a small business automation consultancy firm. So it's kind of in my DNA to think of things in a way that automates it and systemizes it as much as possible. We're all about creating more and more efficiency, delivering a better and better service. So the thing about automation, the way one of the things I think about is it's getting the right message to the right person at the right time. That's the key. That is the entire thing about automation, really. Whether that's, a customer and communicating service related information to a customer or sales process, following up on the sales process, or even staff. It's critical that everyone involved in the operation, in our internal team as well as our customers, are getting the right message at the right time. And with automation, you can pretty well automate, I don't know, the vast majority, I don't know what percentage, but the vast majority of your communication with customers can be automated.
Yeah.
As far as those appointment notifications and all that stuff. So the way I look at it is I basically kind of map out the whole journey that the ideal journey that a customer would go through, or a lead to a customer would go through, and then, just go to work building the automation and figuring out, okay, what of this process can be automated? Obviously, a phone call can't be automated,
Okay.
but it can be systematized. It can be, set up as, with automation. And then the only manual process is actually picking up the phone and calling them. And then, after the phone call, what can be automated? Do we need to manually, send an email with their quote and all that stuff? No, we don't have to. We can go in, a few clicks, build their quote, and send it. And then it'll send the email template exactly, the way I wrote it, with all the links and the videos and all that stuff. And then, from there, if they don't immediately say yes, what kind of, follow-up campaign or drip campaign do I want? Okay, next day, send this text message. And if they don't respond, okay, then create a task for the salesperson to follow up. Don't respond, send this email, And so we do a lot. I mean, it takes to get to a yes, it takes on average 5 to 8 touch points for a new lead to become a customer. That's kind of generic across multiple industries.
Mm-hmm.
For us, a lot of times people will call us and they already know they want to hire us. They see us all over town. They see our reviews. They got referred to us. So, that might not be the case. But if it's someone that's, kind of new to us, it might take that 5 to 8 touch points.
Yeah.
The good thing is, of those 5 to 8, all but maybe 1 or 2 can be totally automated, and we even have a system now that is completely automated for sales. It's a tool called Deep Lawn, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Yep.
It also integrates with Service Autopilot and other scheduling and routing softwares. And we've tried several different online measurement and quoting tools. I think this is the 3rd one we tried, and it's by far the best one we've tried so far. So on our website, a customer can go in there, enter their address. It will measure their lawn using AI, and it'll give them quote for all the different services and programs we offer. The lead can enter in all their contact information, enter the credit card information, sign up for service right there without having to talk to anyone at all. So that's a completely automated sales process. And we sold last I looked last week was 390 customers this year doing that.
That's amazing.
Without talking to them at all.
Wow.
So when that happens, we get a ping, hey, you got a new Deep Lawn customer. So then my someone in my office will pick up the phone and call him because we still want to have that personal touch.
Right.
And basically we go, oh, okay, saw that you signed up for our 7-step program, and kind of go through and just confirm all the information, make sure that they know what to expect. Yeah, hey, we'll get you on the schedule here in the next 5 days or so. You'll get a email and text message the day before we're coming out and all that good stuff. And we also, in that process, on our sales call, we always plant the seed of leaving a 5-star review, which is one reason why we get so many. On the very first touch point, we're telling them, hey, by the way, you're going to love your technician. He gets a bonus for every 5-star review he gets. So if you think he did a great job, best way to do it is to leave him a 5-star review. You're going to get a text message from us after the service. And if for any reason you don't think we delivered 5-star service, just give us a call. Let us know where we dropped the ball and how we can improve for you. And so that's like the first touch point. And then every message we send to them, basically has something that's, kind of talking about, kind of priming them to leave a 5-star. And the technician, when he goes out there to talk to him for the first time, he should also be telling him, hey, I want to deliver 5-star service for you today. Let me know if there's anything that I miss or any questions or concerns you have. I want to make sure that when I'm done today, you feel like I delivered 5 stars. And then, so we go through it's a very holistic, way of doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know what the question was that got.
You answered it.
Yeah. We basically, we look at every single action item that has to be done and every single scenario. We either want to automate it or systematize it. Or, if it can't be automated, we're going to create a standard operating procedure. So it's done the exact same way every single time. That's going to make our staff more efficient. That's also going to ensure a congruent customer experience. It's like going to McDonald's, which I know it's not the best analogy, but McDonald's cheeseburger is going to taste the exact same everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
And that's the kind of service we want to deliver. Every single interaction you have with us is the same, regardless of if it's Christian or Emily or Stephanie or Chad. I want them to be going through the same process, saying, pretty much the same words as well. I mean, everything we have is kind of scripted, templated. We have hundreds, maybe dozens for sure, maybe hundreds of different text message and email templates for pretty much every scenario that we come across, which there's a lot. When you have 8,000 customers,
right,
it's a lot of different scenarios.
That's a lot of conversations.
Anytime a new customer concern, comes into play that we haven't seen yet, we create a standard protocol for it, a templated message to reply to that on text and email. So it makes our team more efficient, and we know that they're getting the message that we want every single time. Because if you don't systematize it and you don't have those templates and you don't control that messaging, you're leaving it up to your staff. And we all have bad days. We can have a day where we don't want to mess around with any extra, pleasantries. It's, get on to the next thing. Right. But we template everything out to control as much of that communication as possible. So we know that it's not as much about how our staff is feeling on a particular day. It's about the system. And as long as they're sticking to the system, the customer should be getting that 5-star experience we're looking for.
Sure. So a question that I've got there is, so do you use automations to essentially initiate those systems? So we'll go back to applause and the NPS stuff, right? So let's say somebody gives you a 6. You've probably got some sort of follow-up procedure to that, sends a notification to the office, and then the operating procedure just picks up at wherever that notification comes in and just takes them all the way through the rest of the way. Is that what that looks like?
Yeah. So in that instance, it's a little bit more manual because the response has to be based off of what their comments were. Because when they leave that 6, they also have a spot to leave comments. And usually they're pretty good about saying, oh, well, he missed this one corner of my yard, or, he left the gate open. That happens, things like that. So we'll take that that message gets emailed to our office staff, and then they pick it up, call the customer, or reach out to the customer however they need to, and basically just follow up and make it right. But we do use automations to trigger all kinds of stuff, like the lawn conditions form I was telling you about. That triggers all kinds of upsell automations, or just kind of communication to the customer. Hey, you have this grub damage. You're not on a grub program right now. If you don't take care of it, these grubs can destroy your yard pretty quick. We can get you a quote. But at least at that point, we're doing our part. That way, if they say no on the grub control, 2 months later, when they're complaining about their yard being dead, we can show them it was grub damage. Right? We told you it was grub damage. We gave you a quote, and you said no thanks. Our chemicals didn't do it. The grubs did it. That happens a lot. And this year was real bad for grubs too. So we also we'll do it for audits. We do random lawn audits. So, one of our senior technicians will just go out and we'll just randomly look at customers' yards a couple weeks after their last treatment, just to see and make sure that we're getting the kill that we want. It's an even green and all that. So, make sure the technicians aren't, skipping processes or skipping corners and things like that. And so he'll use another form in Service Autopilot and fill out a bunch of questions. And based on that, it'll trigger some follow-up automations if necessary. If it's, if the kill's not as good as we like or whatever, then it'll send a notification to our field services manager, so he can do a little bit more digging. Okay, who was the tech? And, do we need to look at more of his yards for that day? Or do we need to do some training with this guy and things like that? So we're more proactive in that manner. And then, we use the forms a lot since, we're all about the communication. So we have forms set up for, like I said, the on the way text. But if we can't treat a customer's backyard because their gate's locked or their dog is out and they're not home or whatever, we got a little form, 2 clicks, technician can fill out. I wasn't able to treat the backyard because the dog was out. It'll send the customer a text message and email. Hey, we weren't able to treat your yard. We did the front. We'll get you back on the schedule to do the backyard, and that type of thing. So we're proactively communicating to them, and we have tons and tons and tons of automations. It's maybe a little bit much, but it allows us to do what we do, and it makes it easy for our staff to stay on top of things. We have, since we bought Dawn's, our revenue has grown 50%, and we have not added any staff at all. Wow. Our number of total staff in the field and in the office has stayed the same, but our revenue's grown 50%. So that's the power of automation and systems. It was not possible the way that they were doing it before. They were maxed out. Everyone was just, doing everything manually. You couldn't get any more production out of them. There was no accountability in the field. And once we started putting in systems and automation, it's been a massive game changer. Our staff is, less stressed and happier, and everyone's making more money because, as we told them from the beginning, the more profit we have, the more money we can pay you guys, so we compensate our team very, very well and give them all kinds of fun perks and things like that. But that's only possible if we're profitable. So, and they finally figured that out. At first they were real skeptical when we had our first meeting, and we're telling them, we're really gonna focus on profit because profit allows us all to make more money. And, of course they thought, well, these guys are just, they're going to keep all that profit to themselves. Right. And, but 3 years later, now they realize that they weren't lying. They, we take care of our guys, and they appreciate it. And that obviously makes them more accepting of the new systems and technologies and things like that we put into place. So,
yeah. That's a beautiful story. Congratulations on growing your revenue, by the way, with that. That's incredible. Yeah. A common thread that we see come up when we talk about things like AI and automations is essentially there is a fear that of replacement, a team member is afraid they're going to get replaced by these automations or by these processes. But pretty unilaterally, what we see is actually what we're doing is we're freeing them up to focus on areas where they can have more impact. And it sounds like that's something that you guys have done pretty incredibly.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are very, very excited about AI. We have dabbled in it a little bit. The conversational AI that we've used to help with sales a little bit, and it just takes a lot of time to really hone it in. So that's one area where we're going to be using AI to help with our sales process. That will allow us to get more sales, answer every single phone call that comes in, so no one goes to voicemail, and we expect in the next couple of years that really the vast majority of our sales will be able to be done either through like something like Deep Lawn on our website or through a conversational AI. That's the goal. We want to continue to grow and keep basically the same staff that we have, make everyone more and more efficient. That frees up our staff to focus on higher level things that really still needs that human interaction and critical thinking. Because AI is still very much, in many ways very robotic, right? It doesn't have that human touch, of course. So we're really diving into that. At some point, we see AI being able to help with our customer service stuff as well. Being able to be tied into our platform and be able to look up customer information, take payment, answer questions about their service and account balance and things like that. At some point it's going to get there. Right now, there's no tool out there that is has the capability to tie into an AI like that, but it's coming. It's going to be coming in the next few years, I'm sure. And we have all kinds of really, really big ideas that we want to implement. Things like smart glasses are going to be, I think, really big for our industry. If every one of our technicians has smart glasses on, that can, from there they have questions in the field. Hey, what's this weed? How do I take care of it? Or how do I kill this bug or whatever? They could, with a click of their glasses or whatever, they can call their team lead or our field service manager, and he could see what they're seeing, help them walk them through the process, or if he's got equipment issues, things like that. He'll be able to do those things. And even, taking a step further, I would love to have it like we have a requirement for our technicians to take a picture of the customer's yard with each time we go out there, because we like to have that proof of, well, number one, we were there, but number two is because we still get a lot of people that say he didn't treat my yard, but also it shows the progress, right? We can see the picture from the first time we went out to their yard full of weeds and all that to here we are, 7 months later, and it's, now it's only 2% weeds and it was 20% weeds or more, and it's, so we can show them the progress, because, a lot of customers expect, instant results. Of course, we communicate that that's not how it works. But to be able to even record the technician in the, doing the treatment, that's something that I think in the future can be there to where it, from the time he gets to their yard and presses start on the app, it starts recording his Google glasses or whatever, and it shows him doing the entire treatment the whole time. And when he clicks stop, it automatically uploads that video to the customer record, and the customer can then see that in the portal. So there's, because one of the biggest issues we still hear is customers think we didn't treat their yard. People have Ring cameras and stuff, and they think that if their Ring camera didn't pick up my technician on their yard, then he didn't do it. He wasn't there. Well, your Ring camera is only set to pick up something within like 10 feet of your front door. It's not gonna pick them up on your on your yard. But when we have things like that, we can show them. Not only can we show them, hey, we did the work. You can see we got total coverage. We didn't skimp on any corners. It keeps our technicians honest. It keeps us honest. It keeps the customer informed, and then we can use that stuff for training purposes as well. Because if for whatever reason customer's yard isn't looking as good as it ought to be, we can go look at the film. The last few technicians that treated it, we can see exactly where we went wrong, what we need to improve on, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff. We have big visions for all this, but it's just going to take a little bit of time for the technology to catch up for.
I love it.
Yeah, so, I love the vision. When I it's crazy to me to be living in a world where I can think about like what lawn care would look like in the Jetsons and then be like, oh, we could be there in a few years.
Yeah.
Right. So no, that's super cool. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to the Lawn and Landscape Technology Expo because that's sort of the place we're going to see a lot of that cool stuff happening.
And it's also for employees worried about AI. I kind of see it as it's a way to elevate your skill. Like these technicians are going to have like technology skills put on their resume or just to be able to enhance their knowledge. So I think it's something to embrace in that way for sure.
Yeah. So we've talked about a lot of the things that automation or AI can do. Jason, are there any spots in your business where you think that level of like human touch and expertise just like is irreplaceable?
The problems, the customer concerns, questions, why does my yard look this way? That is an instance I don't see us being able to get away from that manual human interaction. So when a customer calls us with a question or concern about their lawn, if we can't diagnose it with them sending us a picture, which often we can, if they send us a picture, it's pretty easy for us. Oh, that's grub damage pretty clearly, or something like that. But if it's not, we'll send a guy out there, one of our senior techs to go out there and do what we call go look at. So he'll go and just, check out the yard, and see if he can diagnose and figure out what's going on. Is it grub damage? Is it, we'll test the pH. We need a pH adjustment. Is it because this area is too shaded for Bermuda and you actually need to go, with some fescue over here, things like that. Those things are definitely something that I don't see anytime in the very near future being replaced by AI or technology. That takes obviously being there physically, as well as just that face-to-face interaction. So many times when a customer is upset or concerned, all they really want is to look at us in the eye and feel like we care. And that's what it takes. Even if, we can't fix their issue immediately. And, as long as they know that, hey, we're here, we want to figure this out. We're going to work with you. We care about you and about your lawn and delivering this service, that sets them at ease for the most part. You still have your, some bad Apple customers, of course, but luckily those are few and far between. Although it seems like it's happening more frequently because, I don't know if it's the economy and the craziness of what's going on in the world right now, but people a little bit more on edge than they used to be.
The overall world mood.
Yeah.
That's a thing for sure.
Yeah. It's, it just seems like people are a little bit easier to get upset now than they used to be. And, and unfortunately right now too, that leads to more cancellations, especially, financially. That's been a big, challenge for us the last few years. And it's kind of seems like it's picking up this year, just the economy and people concerned about the future. They're not sure that, spending $600 a year on weed control is, the best use of their money. And it makes sense, so.
Well, speaking of that, like segueing into that, like has technology or are there ways like financial management or planning or financing, are there things that you offer or can technology help with that, with the business that might be struggling?
So I think when it comes to finances and financial planning, the most important thing is good data. Being able to pull data and reports from your system that is accurate, that can easily be digested. That is super, super important. But we haven't really put technology as a, as far as the finances go, as a real important, thing to work on yet. That's, so we're still like, we still are pretty manual in terms of our financial planning and things like that, and reporting and using QuickBooks and spreadsheets and things like that. But we do use the automations, extensively when it comes to our payments and collections efforts, which obviously is very important to financial stability of the company. So anytime a customer gets behind on if they're haven't paid their bill in 15 days or whatever, we're gonna ping them with various messages and all that, and it escalates in intensity and urgency as it goes on. And after X amount of days, we let them know, hey, we're going to send you to collections, and and that whole deal. But since we started focusing on our collections efforts and automating much of it, our accounts receivable from a dollars perspective has dropped by half. But in terms of accounts receivable based off of our revenue, it's cut by like 3/4 or something. So
That's awesome.
So using the technology in the collections process has been a pretty big game changer for us. It's much better to have people owe you $100,000 than $200,000. That makes the cash flow and paying the bills and payroll and inventory and all that stuff a hell of a lot easier when people are paying in a timely fashion. And so that's probably been the biggest area that we've implemented technology and automation as far as the finances goes. We are looking at a couple different softwares that basically integrate with our QuickBooks, and then because we have multiple different locations, so it'll pull all the location data and put it into ways that are very digestible, graphs and interactive, things and all that stuff. So we're looking at that. Hopefully we'll have something in place by the end of this year. But in the meantime, we're just kind of doing it oldish school on spreadsheets.
Yeah.
You said old school, and I was like paper.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought we moved past that.
Pen and paper.
Yeah.
So
that's why I said oldish. I corrected
oldish. Yeah. So if you had any advice to give to a business that was looking to start adopting technology, maybe they are on that paper stage, maybe they are using some sort of antiquated software system, something like that, that really isn't up to par with what is available these days. What kind of advice might you give somebody looking to really bring technology into their business to elevate themselves?
Get the team to buy in on it for sure. Really it comes down to communicating to the team and laying out the use case of how not only will it benefit you as the business owner and the business, but how it's going to benefit each individual team member. The technician needs to know how it's going to improve, his day at work and his, bottom line as well, right? Because it's all about implementing these technologies is all about improving bottom line and efficiency. Like if we get down to it, that's really what it comes down to, right? So how does it affect his bottom line? The same with your office staff. You really have to connect with them in a way that they care about. They don't necessarily care about, the job so much, especially these days, kind of Gen Z or whatever they are now. I don't know. They're not so, we don't really have that loyalty to the company like there was for so many years, so you really have to help them understand how it's going to benefit them to get them to adopt it. And then, but at the same time, there are always, some guys that are just going to resist any kind of change. At that point, sometimes you just have to, tell them, nut up or get out, and you're going to do it this way because this is the way that it has to be done for us to hit our goals and deliver the service like we want. And if you don't want to accept that, that's fine. You can go find somewhere else to work because there's always other guys out there. Now that can be a challenge too, because I know a lot of people in our industry are really struggling right now to keep good quality, especially technicians. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But yeah, so I'm trying to get the staff to buy into it and understand it. And then I would also say, if technology is not really something that comes naturally to you. Don't rush into it too much. Don't jump into the deep end. Let's, walk in on the shallow end and get your bearings before really diving in. But I would say definitely start with the foundation of a good quality scheduling, routing, invoicing, payment software. Like that is the foundation. You can forget about all the other technologies. They don't do any good unless you have a good foundation first, and that's where it starts.
Beautifully put. That was much better than just going and saying buy service Autopilot. So no, I genuinely I appreciate that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I like that part you added about if technology doesn't come easily to you, don't just dive off the deep end, because I've spoken to plenty of people where it's just like technology is not their friend, and there's a mindset for learning, and
Yeah.
there really is. Like you might need to have a team member who's more like technological, like inclined, or be able to be in a place where mentally where you can learn and grow at your own pace. So
yeah, it's worse to poorly implement a new technology than to not implement a new technology at all. You can really screw things up for your customers and for your staff if you don't do it properly. And we've gone through several different pretty big system changes over the years, and it's always challenging, even when the staff is on board with it, and they're happy to to do it. It's still really, really challenging, and the bigger you get, the more challenging that is. So I also recommend if you're smaller, embrace it now. It's going to be easier to embrace it now and get your staff on it now, and then all the new people coming in, that's just how it is, as opposed to like when we came around. When bought Don's, we had 30 people that were used to a certain way that we had to totally change. And that was a big undertaking. And we went through a lot of people, of the original 30 people that were there when we bought the business, we maybe have 10 now. So yeah, you can't take it on without, you can't be lighthearted about it. You got to commit. And for us too, it was also the added challenge of just all the culture and everything else that we had to do. It wasn't just the technology. That was a small piece of it. We really totally revamped the entire business.
Culture can make or break a business, that was for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll say your mindset around that would make you like the ideal customer from when I was doing implementations for FieldEdge. Coming in with like, you've already got the right expectations. It's going to be a challenge. You're not going to half-ass it. Those are all the things that I would tell anybody trying to.
The general rule of thumb is, no matter what the project is, expect it to cost twice as much money and take twice as much time as you think. That's pretty much the general rule of thumb I found in anything, whether it's implementing new technology, renovating a home, which we've done a lot of those in the past, pretty much anything in life. It's going to take more money and take more time than you think.
Yeah. I use the exact same, I kid you not, exactly the same benchmark for any time I do something with my car or one of my motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna, this video says it's going to take an hour. It's going to take me probably 2, and I'm not going to do it right the first time. And
absolutely. Especially if it's the first time you're doing it, you're really in trouble.
Yeah. We need to have you do some mindset bigger jobs, Jason, for both field and service Autopilot. Just come.
Well, that's also kind of our jam. We're really big into mindset and personal development. My brother and I have been doing personal development since we were children. Our parents got us into it, so it just kind of comes natural to us now. And that's really what it comes down to, because without the right mindset, nothing works. Even if you have the perfect system, the perfect technology and automations in place, if you and your staff don't have the right mindset, it's just all a waste. It's not as fun either. If you're working with people that don't have a mindset fit or a culture fit, like we were talking about earlier. But it's that to me is the most vital piece of everything, is the mindset. I can take a guy with no skills, and if he's got the right mindset, I can teach him what he needs to know to be successful. But if a guy that is super brilliant, has all the natural ability and skills, but he's a jackass and thinks he knows everything and he has the wrong mindset, it's not going to be a fit, so.
Absolutely agree with that. We'll have to get you on again to talk about like hiring and mindset and stuff, because that's a rabbit hole I personally really enjoy. So yeah, I would absolutely look forward to that conversation.
But that kind of conversation gets me excited, and technology's fun, but I really enjoy that mindset conversation as well, and helping people, just kind of figure out how to live their epic life, whatever that might look like, and their highest potential.
Beautiful. Well, we'll let you go give your talk at Lawn and Landscape Technology Expo first. Then we'll invite you back. So another plug for that for you guys. Absolutely, if you're going to be there, absolutely go ahead and stop by Jason. The talk's going to be pretty awesome. Just all the interactions I've had with Jason have been pretty great. So I won't be there personally, but I'll be there in spirit, Jason. Jesse Barrick will be there though, so you can cool. See him. So
awesome.
All right. Well, I think that's everything that we wanted to cover and more. So Jason, thank you so much for popping in here. Like I said, giving us some time out of your day, giving us some of the insights as to you guys and your business and the things that make you guys awesome. If anybody wanted to hear more from you, is there somewhere specific they should go look, or?
I'm not real big on social media right now, but my email is jason@donslawnokc.com. That's DONSLAWNOKC.com. You can also just, donslawnokc.com or bugbros.com. You can get a hold of me at any of those places. I honestly can't think of even what my social handles are at this point.
That's all good.
I respect it. All right, man. Well, like I was saying,
if you're coming to Atlanta, at the end of the month, I'll be there.
Yeah, that is true. So that's going to be an awesome conference, and we'll be there too. So it'll be fun all around.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, again, thank you so much for popping in, and looking forward to it. And I'm sure the expo is going to go awesome for you guys as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Later, guys.